Hello, welcome to Unleashed Learning TV and Unleashed Learning Radio for our podcast listeners. Now, if you and your team run webinars and you want to make sure that learning sticks for everyone, this episode is for you. Now, I want to share with you 3 specific actions that you and your team can take that will help make learning stick for everyone. But before I share those with you, here's something to consider. First, more information is being delivered than ever before. Every day I get an email for a new webinar or a new course or new program. And the second thing is that much of your brilliant content that you and your team care about can already often be found online. The other thing is that if you and your team only focus on delivering information, you can be replaced because that information can already be found often online in different locations. The other thing to know is that that's why knowing how to get learning to stick for everyone might be the most important thing you and your team know how to do. The other thing is this, that getting learning to stick is how you get your outcomes, and your outcomes are what set you and your team apart from other groups who are just delivering information. The other thing to know is that the key of engagement is an important key in the Unleashed Learning system, and that key is essential in virtual face-to-face and in the webinars that you run. So here are 3 things to focus on that helps make learning stick for everyone, and we mean everyone when you're running a webinar. Now the first thing is this, focus on sticking. Now when you put your webinar together, ensure that every action you take is an action that's based on what makes learning stick for everyone. Things like how you arrange your PowerPoint slides, or the kinds of activities that you asked your learners to do, or the ways you open or close your webinar, or any other activities that you do. When you focus on sticking rather than just putting information together, you're creating a webinar that helps make learning stick for everyone. Now the second thing is this, think about the key of engagement, not just information. Now, your information is important, but there are specific actions that all learners must be doing throughout your webinar that makes learning stick for everyone, and we do mean everyone. Now, we've run many Unleashed Learning TV episodes on the example of the key of engagement in the Unleashed Learning system and how to use this to make learning stick. Now, if you haven't seen those episodes, jump over there and check those out. Much of those strategies can be used in your webinar. Now, also, if you've got my book, Unleashed Learning, or you've taken any of our programs, you know the exact ways to use the key of engagement to make learning stick for everyone. But for now, here's a question that you can ask yourself when you're putting your webinar together. Here's the question. If I lost my voice and had to run my webinar, how would I engage all my learners? Now, when you answer this question, you often embed your answers into strategies that you can use throughout your webinars, and that stuff is what makes learning stick for everyone. Okay, the third thing is remember that all means all. Now, when you focus on the key of engagement in your webinar, remember all means all. Now, anytime you use this key, it's important that everyone is doing it, not just 1 or 2. You know, sometimes we might ask the group a question or only one person answers while everyone's passively listening. You can ask a question and have everyone record their answers in the chat box, for example. If you want learning to stick for everyone in your webinar, remember all means all. So that means whatever you ask them to do, you want everyone to do it. Okay, I've got a question for you. Now, to get learning to stick requires not just listening, but doing. So answering our question is going to help make learning stick for you. So the question is this. What is one way you get all learners engaged in the webinars that you run? So some of the best conversations take place after the episode, so jump over to unleashed-learning.com and share your responses. And while you're there, if you haven't already done so, grab our free ebook, The 5 Easy Ways to Make Learning Stick, Online Learning Stick. As always, thank you for the work you do for the world. We need you more than ever before, and I will see you in the next episode. We'll see you soon. If you're an educator at a school, business, or organization, knowing how to make learning stick for everyone might be the most important thing you know how to do. Make learning stick for everyone. My new book is here. To find out more, go to unleashed-learning.com.